Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm Greg Todd. I'm the County Administrator for Queen Anne's County. On behalf of the County Commissioners, I want to welcome everyone out here on this beautiful April day. The red buds are in bloom and the bay looks great, so we appreciate you coming in. We're very excited to make this the official announcement for the Season 9 of the Fireball Run. The Fireball Run is coming to Queen Anne's County, and they will be here on September 27th. That's a Sunday, 2015. And the Fireball Run is it's a trivia race that this year goes from Hartford, Connecticut to Cocoa Beach, Florida. And we're the second stop on that race. And the way it's set up is 50 teams will compete on this 8-day full-size, life-size trivia race, and they'll use the East Coast as their game board this year. So I want to thank everyone. I especially want to thank two folks individually, or two folks in particular, Debbie Birch and Faith Elliott Rosing. They came to me a few months ago, more than a few months ago, and said, hey, listen, we've got this great event, the Fireball Run. I said, you know, you guys got to twist my arm. And they did. So that's why I've got this cast on today. And they really, between Debbie and Faith, they really made this event a reality for Queen Anne's County, and I can't thank them enough. I want to thank the press that showed up today. We've got Mike Davis, who's here, and we've got Drake, Elizabeth, and Patty from WCEI, so you guys, thanks for coming out. One of the key missions of this event is to help recover the nation's missing children, and each team is assigned a different child. And as they go along, they solve clues from town to town. They help advertise and they distribute flyers on those missing children. And in addition to that, each race, and it's called the Race to Recover America's Missing Children. And so far, their awareness has helped find 43 missing children. So that's great. And besides that, they also get they get exposure in each jurisdiction for local children's charity. And this year, we're using Adopt-A-Bear, and Heather Tonelli's here. So Heather, we want to thank you for that. So I want to move on by introducing our Commission President, Jim Moran. Jim's going to come up and say a few things and kick us off some more. So Jim, come on up.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you for everybody for coming, and I'm extremely excited for September 27th and the Fireball Run coming here. I will say that, you know, with everything that's been going on in the county, I got a shirt too, and I forgot to wear it. And believe me, I would rather be wearing my Fireball Run polo shirt right now than what I'm wearing. I would just like to say that we're extremely honored that the Fireball Run is coming to Queen Anne's County. It's a huge deal for us. It is a huge boost to our economic engine here in Queen Anne's County. You know, I've been asked to talk about Queen Anne's County and what Queen Anne's County is in relationship to this race. And I hate to knock on the other stops, but Queen Anne's County is really the only stop in this race. They're going to be here for 2 days. We're going to have, I'm not going to disclose anything, but there's going to be some really neat stops of what they're going to be, you know, this so-called treasure hunt is what I like to call it, of clues and where they have to go. But I'd like to say just some things about Queen Anne's County. We have a motto, a great place to live, work, and play. When it comes to working in Queen Anne's County, we have over 1,300 businesses here that employ over 11,000 people. And we have two major funds that we have right now. We have a bridge fund that helps our existing businesses grow, and we have an economic incentive fund to help bring businesses here. So Queen Anne's County is very business oriented when it comes to bringing jobs to Queen Anne's County. As far as living here, it's bar none. I mean, Queen Anne's County, so many people move to Queen Anne's County for one reason only. It's a quality of life here. We have, and I'm trying to put it into words because there's so much that goes with it, but in Queen Anne's County, our schools are second to none. The crime rate is the lowest in the state. We have about 480 people per square mile. We have plenty of room here. You have a bad day in Queen Anne's County, take a drive through the back roads for 15 minutes and you're going to come home refreshed and you're going to feel good. Our farmers are here. The farming industry that we have here, which is our largest industry, is the #1 producers of soybean and corn in the state of Maryland. And I don't think, nobody in here probably knows this, 20% of our farmers are females. And I think that's an outstanding statistic. That's one that I think that a lot of people don't know about. And one of the things that I did 13 years ago when I first bought over here, I went to, and I'm a big guy, and I love sports, and I like football. So 13 years ago, I went to a home football game up at Queen Anne's High School. And that depicts what community is to me. You've got politicians there, you've got business owners there, you've got a sense of community, and it was just, I told my wife, I said, this is where we're going to spend the rest of our days. So, I mean, it's a great place, again, to live, work, and play. And as far as playing, we've got over 480 miles of shoreline. You know, in the summertime, fishing, crabbing. In the wintertime, we've got waterfowl. I mean, year-round, nonstop outdoor entertainment for Queen Anne's County. Our parks, I believe we have more parks per resident than any other county in the state of Maryland. So there's just a lot of things here that draw people to Queen Anne's County, and we're very proud of that, and we're very proud of the fact that the Fireball Run chose us, and we're hoping that those that come here see why the quality of life here is probably the best kept secret in the state of Maryland. And I want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank the press for being here. And Mr. Todd, I'm going to turn it right back over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Before we introduce Jay Sanchez, we do have Commissioner Mark Anderson here, and I think Commissioner Anderson would like to say a few words. So, Mark, come on up. And he does have his Fireball Run.
Yes, he does.
We all got the memo, but our distinguished chairman had to do his part representing us. I'm just one of the guys that helps him from time to time. Jim covered our wonderful county in broad and perfect terms. This is a great place to live and work. I passed through this county with my wife and I coming across an Anne Arundel County transplant. When I landed off the Bay Bridge, my blood pressure would drop. So we said, why don't we move here? And we did so over 20 years ago. I only have one added item to Jim's mention of agriculture, and that is we have a very, very active beekeeping group. This is something that I found out and was educated on just recently. It's amazing the quality of people that live in this county and the very wide range of interests and competence. So I congratulate the planners of this. It started a long time ago. The Fireball Run is going to bring, I think, a lot of fun and knowledge about who we are and what we're doing. This is not Smokey and the Bandit, one of the movies from a long time ago where there's speed racing all over, up and down the road. This is actually a very active effort for a very worthwhile charity to find missing children. And as was mentioned, the beginnings of this, the run hasn't even started here for this session, and 43 children that have been missing have been located. You know, this is important work. So I congratulate all, can't wait for it to happen, and bravo to all concerned.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Without further ado, Jay, you want to come on up? Jay Sanchez is the Fireball Run executive producer, and he's going to give us a little presentation. Great. So, Jay, all yours.
Let me first do my Michael Dukakis impersonation right here by moving this microphone. I think you all can hear me though, right? Yes. Oh, you all got it. Sorry about that. Back to one, as they say. Okay. Well, so Fireball Run, for clarification, primarily Fireball Run is an adventure travel series. And so we take a number of special guests across America to experience the places that, as one of them put it, they typically fly over. We don't go to Tier 1 destinations because the story of Miami, Chicago, LA, Beverly Hills has already been told, and there's no way to retell it. And our audience, the people who watch Fireball Run, which is 1.7 million people worldwide, that, for clarification, is roughly Oprah's audience. So that's how strong the show is. But what our audience is interested in what we call underdiscovered country, the locations that really make America a unique place and a unique place to visit. And so what we'll have is foreigners watch the show, and they plan their vacation around these very unique opportunities that were presented to them in the show. And so Fireball Run, while you can't necessarily do everything that we do in the way we do it, the beauty of the show is in Fireball Run, everything is doable. You can get in your car and you can see all these fantastic places and meet all these fantastic people. We have an entourage of people that after the show premieres, they plan family vacations on the route of Fireball Run and pick the places that they want to see from the show. And we didn't even know about that until a few years ago when our hotel partners started calling us and saying, hey, we've got a family here that watched the show, and they said they're just doing the entire cruise and going everywhere Fireball Run went to. And of course, since we're promoting a particular hotel, that hotel, of course, is making that continual, as I like to say, rate card business. All right. But the folks here the participants are quite special. In order to be a participant in Fireball Run, you must be either a business owner, senior level executive, industry celebrity, or elected leader. And so what Fireball Run becomes is, while it is 75% destination marketing, the reason destinations take part, 25% of the value is who's in the show. This year we will have 4 or 5 billionaires, an unbelievable amount of multimillionaires, and other very successful people. Sir Richard Branson's best friend is in Fireball Run this year. The actors that are in Fireball Run, our celebrity cast, leads off with Adrian Curry, America's Next Top Model. Grant Amahara from Mythbusters, show that few people have heard of. Also Jacqueline Siegel, her name is the Queen of Versailles. She was in the Cannes winning film Queen of Versailles and has since been on a number of reality programs. David and Jackie Siegel are the owners of Westgate Resorts. And in Forbes' top 100 billionaires, they rank number 20. And they're going to be out here. And then to add extra measure, we will have 4 international astronauts from around the world. Team USA is represented by Captain John McBride. Team India is represented by India's, think about this, India has 1.5 million people. Billion, right. 1.5 billion people. This man is their only astronaut. The man is literally 1 in a billion. And that is Commander Rakesh Sharma. Yeah, that's what we call him. We call him the 1 in a billion. But he is considered a national treasure by the government of India. He is their hero, and he will be joining us in Fireball Run. As well, Colonel Marcos Puentes from Team Brazil will be in Fireball Run. Colonel Marcos is the first astronaut from Brazil. He was Brazil's first astronaut, and he is absolutely a celebrity in his country. And the next person, we were very surprised. He will be now the highest ranking person to ever be in Fireball Run, and that is Major General Jean-Luc Gattin representing Team France. The neat thing about the general is he's been to space like 7 times. That's quite a journey for an individual. He was France's first astronaut, and of course has been leveraged by France continuously. Unbelievable individual, very inspiring for folks. As well, we support the Race to Recover America's Missing Children, and I'll add a little correction. Not you guys weren't terribly off, but 44 kids have been recovered as a result of the show. And that is because of the great folks from the media that keep that element out there and people pick up on it. It's amazing. We were going to do, Fireball Run would happen anyway. But we decided that with our show, we wanted to do some good outside that transcends the show. And it's amazing what can happen when you take a missing child and take that poster and place it on the Batmobile. How many more looks that child gets. And that's what we do. We leverage the show to aid in the recovery of America's missing kids. And the teams are given 1,000 posters to distribute from mile 1 to mile 2,000. So they'll start in Hartford and, of course, finish in Cocoa Beach. Our finale is also timed, where we will have a huge parade at the end, and our finale is timed with the Space Shuttle Atlantis' 30th anniversary. So we will have about 75 other astronauts joining us at the finale as we do a joint celebration with NASA to celebrate the Shuttle Atlantis. So we're very excited about that. Sir, you mentioned something about economic development, I think is where somebody had mentioned, right? Well, here's how economic development happens in Fireball Run. As I understood from Deborah, there was a need for DSL service, right? Strong bandwidth service. Just so happens one of our participants, that's their business, and they go into more rural communities. That's the value they find. And when I found out about this, I reached out to him and asked him, can you get the company up here in Maryland? He says, absolutely. So I will be putting him in direct contact with you. His wife, Doc Harmony, is a famous homeopathic doctor. She's actually Oprah's homeopathic doctor. So quite successful and down-to-earth people, and I think that might be a great value to the community. So we'll talk a little bit further on that note. Someone else mentioned that if you have a bad day, just drive down any of the paths, right? Well, Fireball Run's still a game show, and at least 50% of the teams are going to have a bad day. So just go ahead and clear the roads now, because they're going to need to let some steam out. But it is a fun show. The show is about promoting destinations. That's our primary objective. We are not a reality show, even though we are classified as reality TV. The major difference between us and Amazing Race is Fireball Run is actually real, and Amazing Race is not. Nor is Survivor, and nor is the Kardashians. They do not, I can assure you, they don't act that way in real life. So the funny thing about reality TV, it's called produced. It's really produced. They make those folks do it several times until they get the reaction that they want on camera. Fireball Run is the only television series that films in real time. Now think about it. The only thing that films in real time, other than Fireball Run, is Saturday Night Live. And they do it for, 40 years in the same soundstage, and it's not moving anywhere. Our soundstage is going to move across the United States at the speed of live, and we will capture all that. Now, what happens after that is we will then take about 6 to 8 months to edit it, and your season will premiere in June of 2016. We're only a few months away from premiering last year's live event as this season's series. So that went from Frisco, Texas to Independence, Missouri, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. The show title was Fireball Run, America's Frontier. And here it's Fireball Run Space Race, because we have some historic astronauts that are joining us. Also, Fireball Run this moment is historic for another reason. According to NASA, again, something that I was surprised at, there has never been a journey of 4 international astronauts for more than 4 days, whether in space or on the ground. So when you see the astronauts up in the sky, and there's a bunch of them up there, here's how they educated me. They're only up there together for 2 days while the spacecraft are docked together, and then everybody has their hellos and welcomes and everything like that. But within 2 days, they have to separate. So all these astronauts, these 4 international astronauts, this is the longest journey for them at 8 days. So we are making NASA history, as what they told us. Because they actually told us that you're never going to pull it off. They're like, we're NASA, and we can't get them to come here for more than 4 days. It's just, they're under demand from their countries. And we seem to pull it off, so we're so excited about that. But also, Fireball Run's just a fun experience. We want our teams to have a great time. We want them to experience your community, and thank you for letting us play in your backyard, is what we say. The speeds are mitigated and they're monitored by GPS device. So as someone said here, right, it is not Smokey and the Bandit and it is not the Cannonball Run. Although we do enjoy those comparisons because Fireball Run was born of both of those products. Brock Yates, who is the guy who created the original Cannonball Race, wrote the movie, and Smokey and the Bandit, was the inspiration for Fireball Run. He was a very dear friend of mine, and we decided to turn it into a show and wanted to have his blessing, and he was absolutely all about it. He was very happy. Kiddo, I'll do anything I can to help you. Sadly, Brock is no longer with us, but we appreciate all his mentorship through developing this. But the show actually operates a lot like the movie. How many of you all have seen Cannonball Run? Right? Oh, yeah, because it plays like every week on some channel, right? Absolutely horrible film. But in the movie, you saw everybody was competitive at the beginning. And they're throwing each other under the bus. They're teasing each other. They're trying to find their way to, I'm going to beat you and this and this. And everybody's excited to get started. And in that beginning, everybody's cutthroat. Everybody's trying to do everything they can to beat the other ones. Then if you'll notice, somewhere in the middle of the movie, right? Somewhere in the middle of the movie, it becomes less about winning and more about getting there together. And the teams start helping each other to get from one location to the other. And they go back and they help the Sheik and they want to get the person who was kidnapped. And Sir Roger Moore was in it and he's trying to get somebody else to go because they don't want to leave him behind. And then as you get to the end of the film, right, it becomes a little bit of a scramble where people now are remembering it's still a competition. And at the end of the movie, does anybody remember who won? Nobody? Nobody remembers who won? Good. That's because an ancillary character won. It wasn't Burt Reynolds. It wasn't Adrian Barbeau. It wasn't Sir Roger Moore. It was none of the primary characters. It was a completely random character that won. And Fireball Run happens a lot like that. They'll start out very competitive, and then somewhere in between, their personalities change, and it becomes more about getting there together, and we can't leave anyone behind. At the end, it's a scramble, and the teams that you might think would win, or the characters in the show, it's some other character that wins that wasn't covered in the show. And that's the beauty of Fireball Run. In the end, the competition is for a, as we say, bragging rights, a greater cause, and a plastic road sign. They will step on each other for the road sign for some reason. It's amazing how important that thing is. But there's no money involved with Fireball Run. We've taken a different direction with Fireball Run. We wanted it to be about the bragging rights, the greater cause, and a silly road sign. And to be honest with you, our people, the people in Fireball Run, they don't need money. Money is something they already have. They want the bragging rights. They want to help the missing kids. And by God, they love that road sign. It's crazy. I almost saw fists going one year on that thing. But that's really the gist of Fireball Run and how it aligns with those films. How it doesn't align is we're not speeding. Each of the vehicles have a GPS monitoring device in their vehicle. We set a speed threshold every day. That means it can change. I assure the teams the speed threshold will never be above 15 miles an hour. As far as we're concerned, we don't want to be the Gestapo. We want them to have some flexibility, and we figure, you know what, if you're going to go 5, 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, and guess what, if the police catch you, well, we tell them to chalk that up to a donation to the community. Right? So we're doing our economic development effort at that point because we want the police to do their job in keeping people safe and keeping us safe. But we also don't want to be that kind of Gestapo that's overseeing these teams. We let them have some flexibility. Tickets are very seldom, but they do happen. And they love to chalk that up to part of their economic spending in a community. So the other thing is we give them incentive to spend locally. And that's something very unique for a product like us or a television show. The teams get bonus points for spending at least a minimum of $250 within the community. And they cannot count their hotel bill, and they can't count their bar tab. We kind of assume those things are going to happen. So we want them to genuinely spend. The realities, though, are each team spends about $1,500 in every destination. These are people that if they're going to buy something, they're going to hit an antique store, or they're going to buy something of substance to remember the community by, and they simply have it shipped back. So the average spend is $1,500 per day. And that's all because they want to do their part for the community. So again, I want to thank everybody. I'm going to play you the trailer for Fireball Run, and then I'll break for any questions that you have. Thanks to the leadership here. Thanks to Faith, who had faith in our product. We have a great reputation for serving communities. We're very well liked by our past destinations. But it takes a very innovative community to latch on to something so different as Fireball Run. This is not the men's softball tournament coming to town that only cares about itself and asks the community for what can you do for us, but we only care about ourselves. This is a joint effort. Fireball Run wants to contribute back to your community, and we do that through economic development, we do that through exposure, and we do that through supporting the local children's initiative in each community. That's our part of saying that we're not going to come to your community and just take. We want to leave the communities, as we say, a little better than when we received them. And that means we've made an impact on the children that are in your destination. So I'll go ahead and play this, but thank you, Faith. And Debbie is out there with the film crew, so she's seeing how all the filming stuff works. I understand the owl thing is pretty fun right now. They actually let them wear the owl. Didn't work out so well for the camera op. The owl decided didn't like the camera op, so they sent me photos. Also, for any of you, please, at this point, I'd say I do welcome you to take out your phones, go to Facebook, and look up Fireball Run Adventure, and like it. And you will follow along all the things that we've been putting out to tease your destination and other destinations. The film crew has a lot of fun with that. And you're certainly welcome to add yourself to my personal Facebook. I tend to give away a little bit more on this stuff, but both are fantastic, and we welcome you to be part of it so that you can understand the journey a little bit more. All right? Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and play this for you, and we'll move right on.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am putting myself to the fullest possible use.
Mr. Ball, congratulations on your discovery, which may well prove to be among the most significant in the history of science. Many of you are troubled by the anxiety this story might cause to your friends.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen. There are some extremely odd things about this mission. It's rather difficult to define. I'm sure you'll agree there's some truth in what I say.
Thanks, Jay. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We've got cookies and coffee, and if there's no questions, we will wrap it up for this evening. Commissioner Anderson.
There are, how many total teams are expected?
Oh, I forgot about that. We have a little bit of dilemma this year. We cap, ever since 2008, Fireball Run has been capped at 40 teams. We only take 40 teams. Everybody else has to go on a waiting list. I'm not good at math. And that's really what it comes down to. I thought we were 30 teams under. We were 10 teams under. until my line producer told me about 4 days ago, all these people are calling and saying you promised them an entry, and I said, well, yeah. We're like, we're 10 away. He goes, we were at 40, and now we're at 55.
Wow.
So what's great is every one of those people are phenomenal. We have a lot of hoteliers in Fireball Run, a lot of industry makers, some Fortune 500 companies in Fireball Run. So I guess the slogan for this year is the more the merrier.
Well, let's extrapolate $6,000 a team of spending outside of bar bills and hotels for the community. Business community is going to have a pretty good day.
Yeah.
A series of days, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, these people are very successful, and they do a real good job they know that they're here at the hospitalities of the communities, so they like to do their part. They're very generous when it comes to charity. We always make it so that it's an item that everybody can do, and then we ask them to give us a few wish list items, because you never know. I usually find that our charities are extremely satisfied when Fireball Run comes to town.
Well, this has done nothing to excite me, and can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah, well, that's great. You know what? We do encourage you guys to have a local team. Most destinations, in fact, all the destinations, have their own team. In fact, the mayor of Sanford is in the Fireball Run, which is one of our destinations.
Would that be a ringer team? Because we know all the answers, are we sure?
Yeah, your handicap is that you won't know any answers outside this community, is what I say. And you will have a lot of friends going into this community. I'll tell you that.
Well, some of us will.
We do encourage that because one of the most overlooked items, people look at the show, and destinations and destination partners in tourism are getting exactly what they paid for. They're getting a starring role, an entire episode with 44 minutes, by the way. Fireball Run this year will jump from 13 episodes, 22 minutes each, to 13 episodes, 44 minutes each, which is a network series. That's top network line right there. But the one thing that's overlooked constantly is the economic development side. If you take it seriously, it will produce for you. One of those things that you need to do is have a team in there of people that are influencing and advocating for the community, and a business leader that is successful from the community. That's what we say is a good mix. Because if you just go with the business leaders, which is fine, and some destinations do, but I'm going to tell you what happens on the inside. Those business leaders are doing business for themselves. Right? They love their community, but all of a sudden they realize who they're surrounded by, and they're making the connections. Okay. So they're making the connections for their businesses, and rightfully so. If you're hanging out with top 500 industry 500 leaders and 5 billionaires, you're probably going to want to, well, make good friends. But we always recommend that if one person is a business owner and the co-driver is someone from the community, either somebody from economic development or a commissioner or somebody that is not taking their eye off the ball, yes, you're going to have a good time. It's going to be a life-changing experience for all intents and purposes. But the community leaders tend to not take their eye off the ball. They're there to meet as many people as they can, be friends with as many people as they can, have that contact, and then recruit them back to the community to consider themselves for whatever industry they're in, whether it's hotels, and I understand that there's a need for hotels out here, whether it's people that do broadband service, or people that have any industry that could be expanding. The owner of Solo Cup is in Fireball Run, Solo Cup and Dark Container, and they're one of the billionaires. And they're phenomenal people. But having someone on the inside, by day 3, you'll be friends with everyone. Whoever's in that vehicle is going to genuinely walk away with those celebrities as personal friends with their personal numbers, and the astronauts as personal friends with their personal numbers. And those are good people to have in your Rolodex.
Children's charities, is there a connection there?
For meaning?
Is there anything that the Fireball Run does with each community, when you come into the community, is there anything that they do specifically with charities for the children?
Yeah, well, we're going to be supporting which charity here?
Adopt a Bear.
Adopt a Bear. So the teams will be donating like teddy bears or whatever. We're gonna, in fact, whoever here is from Adopt a Bear, we do need to talk after this because I know they're gonna be filming over in your area. But yes, they contribute in that way. They contribute in economic spending in the community, and then of course the whole production contributes to the missing children effort, and we've been quite successful with it. I always say that it would be great if NASCAR were to give up a little bit of that space that they're selling. If we can just, with one season of a show and 40 plus vehicles, evoke 44 missing child recoveries, just imagine what could happen with all the eyes on NASCAR. But you know, some organizations are profit generated. We're also purpose generated. So, you had a question?
Yeah, will the exact stop speed disclosed, and if so, when? So the drivers obviously don't.
They don't know it. We do allow the individual locations to promote on their own. They're just asked not to tag us in Facebook or Twitter or use our hashtag. We're the worst kept secret on the planet. The teams are doing their research. They were doing it a year ago. All right, so they're studying your website. They've probably torn apart the tourism site by now to try to think of any variable that could be in it. They're looking, they have their Google Analytics set. I mean, these people are serious players. They got Google Analytics set for anything that says Fireball Run that might come out in the press that they might get a little nugget from. We like that. We consider that. We like the fact that they're researching this. We just ask that media nor anybody here, when you discover what the locations are, which you will inevitably do, please do not post them all in one sort of write-up. Our teams are resilient and they will find it, and you will have ruined the surprise in your destination. We want them to be surprised. We want them to be excited. And if you give them the answers, it's still a game show. We prefer that not happen. Yes, ma'am.
Can you give any suggestions for the local business community to be prepared for when you come? Have you seen anything in the past Fireball races that they've done that's successful so that when they're here, we can make sure they know all of us that are here and what we offer?
One moment, I'll answer that. I leaned on the Olympus, and now it says stop. So who wants to make this start again? All right, sorry about that.
You can just leave it up there.
Okay, you want to start it or no?
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, excellent. Yes, good question. In Allegheny County, New York, which was a destination on Fireball Run in a past year and is in 2012 season, and in 2016 is also a destination. That lady, Gretchen Hanchett, who's the chamber president, was unbelievably smart. It was pretty cool. Basically, the stores had up big signs, welcome Fireball Run. They did a Fireball Run discount. You know, hey, 10% off anything in the store for Fireball teams. That was brilliant because it absolutely worked. These teams love the fact that they're being welcomed to a place. And when you feel that, they tend to spend there. So that's a great question. I don't get asked that very often, but that's a great question. And then Gretchen did something pretty sly. As we're running in Fireball Run, I'm in a vehicle as well, but a part of the production. And I'm following all these signs that say Fireball Run this way, Fireball Run this way, Fireball Run this way. I'm driving it, and I'm like, I don't recall this on the pre-drive. This is completely not, what is this? What is this? They got us and all the teams to go through their central downtown district, to all their scenic areas, and it was absolutely hilarious. Because the things they wanted to show off on camera, she cheated the system, which was brilliant. You'll get to meet her because Allegheny, New York has had a team in Fireball Run for 4 seasons now, and Gretchen is in it. I would tap into Gretchen, but don't answer any questions she asks you. Okay, they're slick, these folks. They like to play, well, I'm the chamber president. You got to help out another chamber president. I've seen all of that. We have 3 senators in Fireball Run. And in fact, that number 44 missing child was assigned to Ohio Senator Marlene Anielski. And you know what she did after Fireball Run is every time she went into the House and they had their time to speak, every time she led with, this is the child we're looking for. And that produced a recovery. The child was missing for like 13 years and was recovered as a direct result of that lady's efforts. And that's how Fireball Run transcends. It was really special to just, we tune in to watch the, nobody watches government TV. Let's be honest. Well, they watch, you know what? They watch yours because you actually do programming. No, they watch yours because you got cool stuff on there. My people were watching it. But when it comes to like just, watching House meetings, no, I don't think that's a big metric on NBC's studio. But what was neat is she kept doing that. It permeated in her region, and the child was found. So we encourage, again, please support the effort. The teams are going to be driving through and distributing their missing child posters. Do us and do the parents of the missing child a favor. Put them up in your local Walmart or your post office or your business, because that is why these children get found. 1 out of 6 is found because somebody recognizes them from a missing child poster. So it's really important. Any other questions? That was a good one, though, back there. That was really good.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And it sounds like the gauntlet has been tossed. We need to get a team together for Queen Anne's County. Commissioner Moran, I'm looking at you. Okay, if no other questions, we're going to close for today. I want to thank, once again, everyone for coming out. I want to thank Jay for his help, and looking forward to September. Thanks.